Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back, and I just wanted to come in and run my mouth and talk about the mess. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into it. So, this is just a quick update with some of you girls and boys fave. This is according to people.com. So, Chris Brown pleads not guilty to causing grievous bodily harm during alleged nightclub attack. Bravery. So Chris Brown has pleaded not guilty to a charge of causing grievous bodily harm during an alleged nightclub attack in London, England. London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady. Shout out to what's her name? Oh, Dun, 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 dun. Who sing that song? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The white girl from Black Eyed Peas. London, 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 London. Fergie, that's her name. The 36-year-old singer entered his plea at the Southwark Crown Court in the British capital just after 10 a.m. local time on Friday, June the 20th. Wearing a blue suit and a black tie, Brown only spoke to enter his not guilty plea and confirm his name and date of birth alongside his co-accused Dallas rapper and producer Omalu Akinlolu. Girl, you know I would mess somebody's name up. The next stage of the case will take place on July the 11th, with the trial being scheduled to start on October the 26th, 2026. Girl, that's a long time. Brown had previously been released on a $6.7 million bail on May the 21st for the alleged attack on the producer Abe the I. I don't know these people's names. We're gonna call him Abe. Girl, your mama named you Abe. I'm gonna call you Abe. In 2023. And then it just went on to talk about the arrest. You know, when he got arrested, we already talked about that. I guess we'll find out what it is, what it do. Y'all think he guilty or y'all think he innocent? Girl, that man said he got hit upside the head with a tequila bottle. Girl, that's a mess. A tequila bottle? A tequila bottle. That's what he alleges. I don't know. I wasn't there, so I don't know. Anyways, I just wanted to come and give that quick update about C Breezy. All right, y'all, let's go ahead and get into the next hot topic. Oh, baby. Before we get into this story, I don't know. I was not there. Okay. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. I wasn't there. So this is according to NBCNews.com. So Fat Joe's former hype man alleges rapper forced him into 4,000 sex acts. Oh my God, today. Rapper Fat Joe was accused of forcing his former hype man to engage in thousands of sex acts with women in a $20 million federal lawsuit that also alleges he was underpaid, denied songwriting credits, and threatened. Terrence T.A. Dixon filed a complaint against Fat Joe, members of his inner circle, and Rock Nation and U.S. District Court for the Southern District of New York on Thursday. An attorney for Fat Joe, whose real name is Joseph Antonio Cortaniga, said the allegations are complete fabrications intended to damage the rapper's reputation. The lawsuit says that Dixon was the rapper's hype man or on-stage entertainer, but he also contributed as his lyricist, background vocalist, bodyguard, and creative collaborator from about 2005 to 2022. It alleges that Dixon wrote or co-wrote dozens of songs, including Congratulations, Ice Cream, No Problems, and Blackout. Plaintiff contributed lyrics, melodies, vocal phrasing, and conceptual design to these works, shaping their final form as distributed to the public, the suit says. Dixon was underpaid and denied songwriting credits, royalties, and back-end compensation were deliberately concealed from him, according to the lawsuit. I'm just going to call Fat Joe. They have his last name, but I know I'm probably saying his last name incorrect, so I'm just going to call him Fat Joe. But they're not calling him Fat Joe in the article. Okay. So Fat Joe controlled Dixon through psychological manipulation, intimidation, and persistent threats, the lawsuit says. It alleges that Roc Nation either knew or should have known about the rapper's behavior but took no action. Roc Nation, which is named as a defendant, did not immediately respond to requests for a comment Friday. The 157-page document, which comes with a trigger warning at the top, also details alleges of sexual abuse. It alleges that Fat Joe routinely took women back to his hotel rooms and forced Dixon to engage in sexual acts with them, sometimes in front of members of the rapper's inner circle. According to the suit, Fat Joe frequently arranged and orchestrated encounters, intentionally creating scenarios designed to reinforce plaintiff's complete submission. Baby. What this sound like to y'all? What it sound like to y'all? Honey, he's giving Freak Off 2.0, baby. Baby. That's what it's giving. But again, girl, I wasn't there, so I don't know. Okay? Be very clear. It accuses Fat Joe of remaining in the room to watch, record, and provide explicit directions and commands. Baby. What is going on in Hollywood? They call it girl. Remember who was that? Who used to call it Hollywood? Was that Bossa? Was that Bossa back in the day? Who used to always call Hollywood Hollywood? What's going on in Hollywood? Dixon did not want to participate in the acts, the lawsuit says, but he did so solely out of fear of immediate retaliation. During one alleged incident, Dixon refused, and Fat Joe canceled his flight home, stranding him with no money, the suit says. Dixon estimated over 16 years he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. Girl. I know 4,000 sexual acts does not mean 4,000 partners. Um, but 4,000 just period. Let me shut up. The lawsuit also alleges that Dixon witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with 15 and 16-year-old girls. What I said, honey, London Bridge is falling down. My fair lady. My God, today. In this case, is a Brooklyn Bridge. Okay. Um, Fat Joe's lawyer, Joseph Tacopina. I think that's a lawyer that was ASAP Rocky's lawyer, I believe so. Said the lawsuit is a blatant act of retaliation in a desperate attempt to deflect attention from a lawsuit the rapper filed in April accusing Dixon and his attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, of extortion, slander, and defamation. Fat Joe's lawsuit says that things ended amicably with Dixon in 2019 and that it was not until years later that Dixon alleged that he had been underpaid while he was working with the rapper. The suit says Fat Joe compensated Dixon handsomely for assisting him on tour and denies Dixon's allegations that the rapper had sexual relations with minors. It further accuses Dixon and Blackburn of trying to extort Fat Joe for money. We didn't just sue a disgruntled former employee trying to revive a false claim from 15 years ago. We sued the lawyer behind it all. Joe said in the statement, the lawyer, Fat Joe's lawyer. The allegations against Fat Joe are complete fabrications, lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. Fat Joe will not be intimidated. We have taken legal action to expose his fraudulent campaign and hold everyone involved accountable. Baby. In response, Blackburn said Friday that Fat Joe is desperate and grasping for straws. We meet the law. Wait, I'm sorry. Um, We met with law enforcement. Let's wait and see who they believe, he said. The lawsuit says Dixon suffered severe emotional injuries, including chronic anxiety, debilitating fear, and symptoms consistent with post-traumatic stress disorder. He remains in trauma informed therapy. The suit says. Baby, I don't know. All I'm gonna say is this, baby. Everybody is getting sued. Baby, the chickens are coming home to roost. Just because somebody sues does not mean that they're guilty. Just because somebody sues does not mean that the lawsuit, um, they're telling the truth. Um, I look at it through both lenses. If the person is guilty, ship them off. Okay, get them off the street. They are a threat to society. Take them away. If we find out that the alleged victim has told us a bona fide lie, ship them off. Okay? They are also a threat to society. Okay? So either way, if you're found guilty, you go send them to jail. If we find out that the accuser is telling the bona fide lie, send their asses to jail. But yeah, I guess we'll find out. I guess we'll find out if this is who's telling the truth and who isn't, or who will be found guilty, or if he's found guilty of, what I'm trying to say, girl. We'll eventually find out. All right, y'all. Let's go ahead and move on. Do y'all think that Fat Joe did it? Fat Joe got an ugly ass walk. That ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Have y'all seen Fat Joe walk before? Girl, his stance is even ugly. Fat Joe, I know Fat Joe used to be big. This don't have nothing to do with nothing. But I always felt like, not always, but since he done got, since he's lost a lot of weight, I always felt like he stands the way he's. This is about to sound real stupid. I'm gonna say it anyways. Girl, I always say, girl, I had a little cocktail before I got on here. Okay. But I feel, what I feel like? I'm gonna say what I feel like. I feel like that Fat Joe's stance and the way that he stands and the way that he walks is so ugly because he used to be a big boy. Fat Joe was fat, okay? So I'm thinking that because all that fat on his bones, that after he lost that weight, because that fat was on his bones for so long, that it messed up his bones. And that's why he got to stand like that. That's what I think. Maybe that's the vodka talking. That's what I think. Cause baby, them knees be knocking. That stance is ugly. Okay, baby, that stance is ugly. Them knees be knocking, baby. He be looking like it. Look like when he walk, it like he be in pain. Either Fat Joe, okay, either Fat Joe is because his bones are real tired from all that fat being on his bones, or either he got a prosthetic. That's the only thing. It's only two of them options. Them the only two options we gonna have tonight. Either his bones are tired because he had all that fat on his bones for so long before he finally lost that weight, or either he got a prosthetic, or either it was a defect. It's a defect in his. It's something going on with his leg. Because that walk is something nasty. That walk is nasty. That walk is something nasty. But he walked like his legs about to give out at any second. Baby, he walked like he holding on. Girl, like he holding on. Girl, holding on. Girl, he is holding on. Like if he take a few more steps, girl, like he probably gonna fall down. Cause his knees is just tired. Like his knees is probably tired from carrying all that weight, that upper body. You know what I'm saying? You know, like girl, his knees had to carry all of that at one point. You know, his legs had to carry all of that at one point. His bottom, girl, just his whole body had to carry all that. Girl, I don't know, child. Shout out to Fat Joe. Let's go ahead and move on. I'm gonna try to find a video so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Cause baby, that walk, baby, he needs to go to the hospital. That's all I can say. Because if I walk like that, girl, I would just put me in a wheelchair. Because they're gonna think I need to be in. They're gonna, girl, just put me in a wheelchair because they're gonna think I need to be in one anyways. Okay, at this point. Hello. I'm just saying, baby. Chris Brown, Fat Joe, R. Kelly, baby. What's going on with everybody going to jail or possibly going to jail? Ooh, hey. Are already in jail. Okay, so this is according to NBCNews.com. Judge denies defense motion to move R. Kelly to home detention. Mm. A federal judge has denied a defense motion to release R. Kelly to home confinement after what his lawyers called an assassination attempt against the disgraced musician. That's what happens when you mess with kids. Okay. Defense lawyers recently said Kelly was hospitalized for an overdose of medication administered by prison officials and alleged the prison officials directed another inmate to kill him in exchange for the inmate's freedom. Baby. Mm. Kelly, whose full name is Robert Sylvester Kelly. I did not know that was his middle name. Okay. Is serving a 30-year prison sentence at the Federal Correctional Institute in Bertner, North Carolina, after his 2021 New York conviction of racketeering and sex trafficking. U.S. District Judge Martha Bacall denied Kelly's motion Thursday, ruling that she lacks jurisdiction over this matter. Kelly's attorney, Bo Brindley, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. This month, Kelly's attorney filed a flurry of motions seeking to get him released to home confinement. Prosecutors have called the request and the allegations in court filings deeply unserious and theatrical and repugnant to the sentence that the court imposed for deeply disturbing offenses. Mm-hmm. So where am I? Okay, I'm sorry. In court filings last week, Kelly's lawyer accused prison officials of soliciting another inmate, Mikhail Glenn Stein, to kill Kelly. The pair were detained at a federal prison in Tucson. Is it Tucson or Tucson? Tucson, Arizona this spring. The court filing alleged that prison officials offered to free Stein, who has a terminal illness, in exchange for the unaliving of Kelly. Shortly after the allegation was made, Kelly's attorney claimed in court that his client was moved to solitary confinement. Kelly's lawyer this week that alleged Kelly was hospitalized last Friday and accused prison officials of having administered him an overdose of medication, according to a court filing. Girl, take him out, baby. Take him out. I just feel like let me shut up. The filing alleged that prison officials, you know what I feel? I feel like when it's children involved, and I know some of you don't consider 13 and 14 and 15-year-old girls and 16-year-old girls children. Those are children. I just feel like when you are someone, it's bad all around, right? It wouldn't matter if it's a grown woman, a grown man who was taken advantage of and manipulated. But when it comes to kids, I'm sorry, it just brings a whole nother level to it. We saw R. Kelly on that videotape. How old was that girl? And then we already know about Aaliyah. And when did he marry Aaliyah, supposedly? Allegedly? What was she, 15, 16, something like that? I think when you start to bring kids into it, girl, you gotta go. Ain't no getting out. Because kids are gonna always be around. You know what I'm saying? And because they are children. It's when it comes to kids, it's a no for me. It's a no. I'm not saying it would be okay if it was a grown woman or a grown man, because it's not okay either way. Kid, grown man, or grown woman. But kids are really in a position where they can't protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense what I'm saying? It might be the vodka, but I feel like it makes sense. Kids are really in a vulnerable position. They gave him 30. He needs to serve all 30. Okay? By the time he get out, we need to make sure by the time he get out, girl, that dick ain't working at all, baby. The strength in your body is gone. How old is R. Kelly? Let me see how old R. Kelly is. Let me see. Let's see. R. Kelly. Let me see how old this motherfucker is. Girl, I'm typing too fast. Ooh, I keep putting T. R. Kelly. Here we go. R. Kelly is 58. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if he served all 30 years, will he serve all 30 years? I don't know. But if he were to serve all 30 years, if he got out, if he didn't die in prison, girl, he'll be 88. I'll be okay with that. 88. Girl. He probably gonna be weak and frail, probably can't move around. The filing alleged that prison officials then moved Kelly back to solitary confinement, taking him out of the hospital against doctors' orders. Mr. Kelly's life is in danger, and that danger is coming from the Bureau of Prisons officials and their actions, the court filing Monday says. Mr. Kelly needs his court's intervention. His life actually depends on it, girl. A spokesperson for the Bureau of Prisons said in a statement that it does not discuss the conditions of confinement for any incarcerated individual and does not comment on pending litigation. Amid the slew of jaw-dropping court filings, Kelly's attorneys also told media outlets last week that he is trying to seek a presidential pardon for his client. Girl. President Trump has been fighting against this kind of criminal weaponization of the DOJ against public figures since he took office, Brian Lee told USA Today. And we will ask him to now stand up with us as we advance his fight and as our client fears that he might be KILLED to cover up the corruption that we seek to expose. Girl, R. Kelly is a corruption. Nigga. Gerald Griggs, a lawyer representing some of Kelly's victims, said in a statement that his clients are firmly opposed to any efforts to secure his early release or the granting of a pardon. Girl. Anyways, is he gonna serve the full 30 years if he don't get out? He needs to serve as much time as possible. R. Kelly is a mess. If R. Kelly got out of jail, I'm telling you, he's gonna be at the local middle school. Okay, I was about to say high school. Girl, that's too old. He's gonna be at the local middle school. Girl, sitting outside in a Chevy Cadillac. Girl, waiting for them little girls to walk out that schoolhouse. And quiet as this couple, we're gonna be honest about it, girl. Girl, the thing that the girls really don't want to talk about is some of the mamas and daddies, some of them daddies and mamas, some of those guardians. They asses need to be right in jail too, because I don't give a damn what nobody say. Some of them motherfuckers just handed over their daughters to R. Kelly. Now R. Kelly, he still need to be his ass in jail. But what I'm saying is, girl, they just handed them kids over on a silver fucking platter because, girl, they wanted their little daughters to possibly become the next Beyonce and buy them a house and a car. It's a few of them parents I don't trust. It's a few of them parents, they asses need to be in jail. Inmate 972-3376 and inmate 7593-77892. Mama and daddy, your ass is going to jail. We don't play about the kids, baby. Not over here, we don't. All right, y'all. I'm gone. I will talk to y'all later. Let me try to edit this video and try to get it out as soon as I can. Bye, y'all.